90% wrong because you're a loser. Let's just call it that. You're a loser, and I'm 90% wrong. But the question you've got to ask yourself is, what 10 years from now is going to have led me to a life of abundance?
Prepare to be amazed as Dave Ramsey unveils the secret to wealth and success. A deliberate choice in shaping your character and mindset.
We don't become wealthy and successful because of government programs, stimulus checks, $15 minimum wage, socialist ideals. We become successful because of our behaviors. We become successful because we choose our character to be that. And what's become famous around Ramsey was because many, many years ago, decades ago, people came to me and they said, what do you do first? Do you do retirement first, or do I do kids' college first? That's very important. Do I have an emergency fund first? That's really important. I need to get rid of this stupid credit card debt. It's 22%. That's very important. Where do I start? And what we did at the time, many years ago, was we laid it out, and then we adjusted it a couple times in the early days. We only adjusted it in 25 years. But we laid out what to do first, what to do second, and we call them the baby steps. Because if you want to eat an elephant, you do it a bite at a time. So if you want to get control of your money, you do it a step at a time. Baby step.
Dive into the financial wisdom as Dave Ramsey guides you through a strategic plan, advising on where to invest a modest $100 a month for optimal returns.
If you were to invest $100 a month from age 25 to age 65 or age 30 to age 70, 40 years, $100 a month. Let's put it in a Roth IRA so that it grows tax-free. And I'm going to recommend a good growth stock mutual fund that has an average annual return of 12%. I own one that's done that for over 75 years. They just chose to fight through the obstacles, some having more obstacles than others. There are legitimate obstacles out there. Pandemic has slapped some folks around harder than others, legitimately. But the question you've got to ask yourself is, what 10 years from now is going to have led me to a life of abundance?
Uncover the transformative power of the debt snowball method, a financial technique that promises to revolutionize your approach to overcoming financial burdens.
Baby step one is you save $1,000 quickly, little starter emergency fund. Once you've done that, and some of you just have that money, you just name it that just now. You already did baby step one. You just reset that money in your mind over to the side. That's baby step one. Baby step two is you pay off all of your debt except your home using the debt snowball. The debt snowball is where you list your debts smallest to largest, pay minimum payments on everything but the little one. You attack the little one with a vengeance. You're not going on vacation. You're in debt. You're broke. You're not going out to eat. You're in debt. You're broke. You work all the time. You're in debt. You're broke. There's a great place to go when you're broke, to work. You spend $100 on things you don't even realize you did it. You impulse more than $100 at Target every month. The reason they check your receipts at Costco and Sam's on the way out the door is not to make sure you didn't shoplift. It's because it's federal law. You spend $200 or you're not allowed out. I think it's easy, if we sit here and discuss it a minute, to think about $100. Now, $100 is a lot of money. But $100 invested every month.
Challenge preconceptions, as Dave Ramsey highlights success stories of minorities who, starting with nothing, climbed the ladder to financial prosperity.
The behaviors and the way you operate your life cause you to be able to build wealth, or not. In spite of all of the things that come against all of us. Is systemic racism real? Absolutely. Does it keep someone of a minority who is a minority from becoming wealthy? No. We know this because there are minorities who are wealthy that started from nothing. Lots of them. Lots and lots and lots of them. Baby step 6 is any other money we can find in the budget we're going to throw at the house, and the average person paying off their house following these baby steps is doing it. We've been doing this for 30 years. Is doing it in about 10.2 years. In our Baby Steps Millionaires study we did of millionaires, some of them had followed our stuff, some of them hadn't. They were doing it in about 11 years.
Wow.
So, but the point is there's an intensity for that first 3 steps to get out of debt and get your emergency fund in place, because until you do that, you're broke. And you're walking around in a culture, strutting around like you got some money. You got no money. Shut up. You're broke. Quit acting like you're something. You're broke.
Witness the extraordinary results of following Dave Ramsey's baby steps with intensity, with individuals breaking free from debt in a remarkable average time frame.
What are your options? Not win and blame it on systemic racism, or win in spite of systemic racism? These are your 2 options. Do some people have an easier path than others, depending on their upbringing, their education, the area of the country that they're born into, which country they're born into? You bet. People that do it with that intensity get out of debt in an average of about 18 to 24 months. Now, average means that some of you have $500,000 of student loan debt like Jade did, took her 7 years, okay? And then average means some of you have $5,000 in debt and $10,000 in your bank account when you heard me rant, and you just went and paid it off. Now you're debt-free. Took you 13 seconds, okay? But the average is 18 to 24 months. Then when you finish that with the same level of intensity, you continue. We call this gazelle intensity, the gazelle running from the cheetah for its life. When you get out of debt, you finish baby step 3 with the gazelle intensity, and that's 3 to 6 months of expenses. Then we turn off the intensity and we move from intensity to intentionality, and we do baby steps 4, 5, and 6 simultaneously. That's 15% of your income going into retirement. That's what's going to make you a baby steps millionaire in about 12 years following this plan.
Shocking statistics reveal that a staggering 95% of people neglect the transformative practice of creating a unique, written budget every month, leaving them vulnerable to financial pitfalls.
My 401k has been funded, and my Roth IRAs have been funded, and anything else I could fund has been funded because even though I'm a natural spender, I figured out that I would have more to give and more to live if I saved and invested. And I've done a lot of that in good growth stock type mutual funds. Now, were you doing that in a growth stock mutual fund, were it to average 12%, were you to put $100 a month in? Now, what do you spend $100 on? I'll guarantee you this, 95% of you listening to me right now do not do a unique written budget every month unique to that month. Almost no one does. Those that do, however, find all kinds of money that's being lost because your checking account is a freaking sieve. Money leaks out of it like you're sending it to Congress or something. You have no idea where your money goes. And you make more than your parents made. You make more than a lot of your friends make, and you make more than any other country in the world, virtually. Personal income. And you're freaking broke. If you're listening to this show and you are under 40 years old and you don't retire with $1 million, that's no one's fault but yours. It's your fault in this country if you retire broke. It's your fault because you made a freaking fortune in your working lifetime. You work your butt off your whole life and you have nothing to show for it. Nothing. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Embark on a call for a renaissance in personal finance, with Dave Ramsey passionately asserting that it's high time for a collective awakening to the art of managing one's finances.
America, it is way past time for a renaissance in the art of personal finance. It is way past time for you to get your freaking act together. For every one of you listening to Not Retire a Millionaire is absurd. It's absurd. Average household income in America today is $50,000. If you say 15% of that, that's $7,500 a year. If you do that in your 401k with no match, into Roth IRAs, into good growth stock mutual funds, you would retire with around $7.5 million if you say 15% of your income. I don't know if I agree with your set of assumptions. Well, shut up unless you do something about it. Because my set of assumptions have made me rich. So why don't you use my set of assumptions instead of your set of assumptions? Because you're sitting on your assumption, doing nothing. It's time for you to get up off your assumption and go save some money. Way past time. Don't you think? So maybe I'm wrong. $7.5 million. Let's say I'm half wrong. So you end up with $3 million. Shut up!
Brace yourself for a wake-up call as Dave Ramsey challenges assumptions, urging you to rise and take charge of your financial destiny by saving money proactively.
Maybe you can't save 15% of your income because you're so deeply in debt and you've not followed these steps to get out of debt. Well, then follow the steps and get out of debt so that you can. But maybe you save half that amount. And so you only end up with, let's say, okay, let's just do this. Instead of $7.5 million, let's say that I'm 90% wrong because you're a loser. Let's just call it that. You're a loser, and I'm 90% wrong. That's $750,000 you would have, which is a whole heck of a lot more than social insecurity. Some of you are walking around right now, and your best shot at retirement is you're thinking, I sure hope the government, which is well known for its ability to handle money, will take care of me. Well, what a stupid butt plan is that? That's ridiculous.
Experience a stark reality check as Dave Ramsey unequivocally declares that retiring broke is inexcusable, pushing viewers to reevaluate their financial trajectories.
There is no excuse for you to retire broke. 15% of the average household income in America saved from age 30 to age 70, age 25 to age 65. Average household income being $50,000, 15% of that being $7,500 is $7.5 million. If I'm half wrong, it's $3 million. And let's just go with the assumptions here for a second, okay? Since we're talking about assumptions. I set you up in an average household income, and for 40 years you never got a raise using those numbers. Now let me help you with this. If you start at average and you don't get a raise for 40 years, you are a loser. Starting at average is one thing, but if you start at average and you don't get a dime raise for 40 years, you're a loser.
Conclude this eye-opening journey with a reflective moment as Dave Ramsey turns the spotlight on each individual, emphasizing that the first step to helping others is acknowledging the need for personal improvement.
Losers in our country can retire millionaires. Isn't that bizarre? That's how dynamic this economy is. But you're too freaking worried about The Bachelor or who got thrown off the island to get control of your own life and your own expenses and sit down and do a budget and look in the mirror at your immature self and say no, so you can put a couple of $100 away a month so you can retire with dignity instead of being a burden on society and on your children. You can't give to anybody because you're too freaking broke to help anybody else, and you've got all these great ideas about how other people need help. You want to find out who needs help? Get you a mirror. You need help. It's time to save money, people. It's time to save money.